welcome to Dystrophy Diaries, the podcast. I'm Zoe, and I created this podcast as I have muscular dystrophy, and I'm really passionate about just showing the true honesty, I guess, of, navigating life with a disability, so the good and the bad, and everything in between, and trying to just show that even alongside the struggles, you can still live a really wonderful life. And I've been really lucky to have such great guests on that help showcase that. And that's why I'm really glad to have you on this episode to hear more about your story.
So I'm Ross. So I've got spinal muscular atrophy. I am 46, and I live independently with support of 24/7 care team. Work full time for a large bank as their workplace inclusion manager, and when I'm not working, pretty much quite a dedicated follower of football, so spend most of my time up and down the M6 or the train line in Liverpool from Cambridgeshire.
Oh, what team do you support?
Liverpool.
Oh, that's the right answer. We can be friends. So, you mentioned obviously that you work full time. Would you mind telling us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I've worked for Lloyd's Bank since leaving university. So I joined their graduate scheme when I was 21, and started working in a high street bank, learning all about banking and serving customers. So branch manager, opening accounts, lending money. Then kind of moved into the sort of branch director's office, looking after a bunch of branches, and then ended up trying to get into head office, where I worked in sort of project management and recruitment roles. Then worked a little bit in e-learning, and then about 12 years ago, I started kind of maybe getting a bit of itchy feet, and I was like, how can I use my lived experience of having a disability and working in this organisation for 12 years to make it a better place for everyone? And at that time, there was a disability team had been formed, so I applied for a role in that team and sort of looked after the workplace adjustments for about 5 years, and then kind of my role expanded into a more broader accessibility role. And then I guess about 3 years ago was I'm a bit worried that I'm the disabled guy working in the disabled team, looking after people's adjustments and accessibility. I don't want to be known for that. So had a real interest in sort of the built environment and design. And we are still going through a massive estate transformation program, and I wanted to broaden my inclusivity knowledge. So a bit of networking and some restructures meant that a role came about as workplace inclusion manager. So I help us kind of create more inclusive workplaces for everyone. So not just about disability, so sexuality, religion, faith, age, everybody really, every diversity angle you can think of. And I work with our property team to try and make sure that we design offices where everyone can come to work and be the best, and try and remove as many barriers as possible for different types of diverse people.
I think it's really wonderful that we're now kind of in a society where roles like that are coming up, because I feel like maybe 5-10 years ago there weren't, companies weren't as bothered, were they, or as aware about inclusivity, and these types of roles were very few and far between, whereas I feel like now a lot of workplaces are a lot more committed to wanting to be inclusive to people. So it's really interesting and really great to hear that that's what you do, on a day-to-day basis, really. So how have you found kind of it balancing your obviously day-to-day, like your disability and your health, and full-time work?
It's hard. It's really hard. It's really hard. There are days where I think to myself, why? What? Kind of some days you kind of, I wake up and I'm like, I'm exhausted
Yeah.
and I haven't even turned on my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hard. But then equally, I also have a good quality of life that I wouldn't necessarily have if I didn't work. So there's kind of like, I guess you reap the rewards of what you put into, and you've got to get the, it's hard because I've said hard a lot. I think kind of
It
having
is though. It
yeah,
is.
having a job and having a career. I have a roof over my head. I have disposable income. I can do reasonably what I want to do when I want to do it. But then that comes at a price in that I'm really tired.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, especially as my condition has got like weaker over time, the energy I have to do things outside of work has become less. So I feel like a very moany old man sometimes already at 46. So, and I think, the other really hard part about it, living independently and having like a care team and all what I'd call the disability life admin is that some nights when I finish work and I shut one laptop, I open another laptop and it's like, pay slips,
Oh.
rota,
Mm.
hours, direct payments reporting, access to work claims, hospital appointment letters, what was it, even mobility car. You're like, when does this ever like stop? So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. And I don't always feel that, people who I work with, they often see me on a screen like this and they don't realize what's gone into your day or what even happened the evening before and the not so great sleep that you've had. And, just to get up and have a shower, like
Oh,
as they can be more effort than what some people have, done that day already. So,
it's really exhausting. I mean, I always say managing my health is like a full-time job in itself, and like yourself, I have PAs that come 5 days a week while my husband's at work, and the admin that goes into managing your employees, and managing your own health, appointments, mobility, like everything. Like it feels like there's always kind of something that needs doing, and then I have, I'm sure, like yourself, days where I don't feel well or moments where I don't feel well, and it can be really hard. I mean, like you said the word hard, but I'm going to use it now. It is hard to kind of balance it, and I think that is something that I also really try and show on my podcast, not in like a negative, oh look, all that we have to do, but just to try and raise awareness of what goes into life outside of the general day-to-day work. I mean, even take this podcast for example. I like this podcast is my passion project. It's my little baby, but there are some times where I really don't feel well enough to do it, and I'll have people scheduled in, and it can be really difficult sometimes to try and balance everything and get it all done, or even sometimes in the middle of filming. Like I have had episodes where I have started filming and midway through I have felt really not great, but it's like what can I do? Do I just leave? Like, so I think I try and just pull back the curtain a bit with my podcast and put out there really what it is like day to day, really. And it is hard, it is, but that doesn't mean, as you say, that it's not a great life. You can have the good and the bad together. I obviously follow you on social media, and you're quite a passionate voice, I'd say, in the community. Is that something that you really enjoy doing? Being quite or is that just something that kind of just didn't set out to be an advocate or anything?
no, no, no. And it's really nice of you to say those words. And funny enough, like this week I was at work and I joined a teleconference with some people. I work in an organisation of 70,000 people, so I don't know everybody. And I joined a a Teams call with some people that I haven't worked with before, and the guy said, "Oh, we've got a LinkedIn celebrity on the call," and I was like, "Oh, that's nice," but I'm not. I'm just Ross, and it was nice. I think so. I guess there's two answers to this question. So I think the truth is that I didn't go into anything like that because I had a plan at the time. I didn't. I just started thinking, how do I share what goes on in like my life, disability, my job, all about, I guess, trying to show younger people with spinal muscular atrophy that it's possible. Like, and also that I'm really, I guess, passionate about where I work. I think I've worked there 20 odd years, and there are always in all organisations some not so good bits, but we do some really wonderful stuff, and I'm really quite proud of that, and I'm proud that I work there. So that was the start. And I think I started doing it a bit more in, I guess, COVID times, because LinkedIn seemed to, I guess, boom a bit then as well, with people being at home and making more time. And then I had ideas about things I could share and a bit of a brand. So that started, and I got a little bit of traction on some stuff. And then you kind of go, okay, this could be useful. And I've got a couple of mentors, like a couple at work, a couple external. And one of my external mentors said, this is a really powerful place for you to show who you are and kind of help you with your life plan. And then, so that brings me back to maybe now the part about honesty and integrity. So, you have a disability, just muscular dystrophy, is that right?
Yeah.
And SMA. So they're similar but different. And I know that the world of corporate work is not probably going to be something that I can sustain until a typical retirement age.
No, me neither.
But I also know that I need to still put a roof over my head and have some form of income. So I guess what I'm trying to do is build my profile so that when the time comes that I need to slow down a bit and maybe I can't give as much to the organisation that I work for as I want, and maybe they go, look, we need more than what you can give us now. At that point, hopefully I've built up maybe enough of a kind of following and profile that potentially I can do smaller bits of work when I've got a bit of energy, some part-time stuff, some speaking, where maybe the actual work part of it is slightly smaller, but the income part from it might be more than work. Not more than what I, as a career, but sometimes when you do like a speaking gig or you support somebody on a project for 2 weeks, because they want you for a short period of time, they're willing to pay more of a premium than what I'd get for working 2 weeks in my current job. So it's part of, I guess, a bigger plan. But also, I guess the other then part of it is, if I can leave this world in a better place than it was when I came because I've shared some insight and experience, then again, that's another thing to be remembered for.
Absolutely. And when I upload this episode, I will make sure that I link all of your profiles so that anybody listening, if they haven't, I mean, I'm sure they probably already have. If they're listening to this, I'm sure they've probably already come across your socials and follow you. But for anybody that hasn't, I would really recommend giving you a follow because, yeah, I really enjoy keeping up with your posts. And I think you do have a really respected voice and opinion within the community. Like, I've always heard people say such really great things about you. So, honestly, like, I'll make sure that people know where to find you in case they haven't already found you. But I'm sure they probably have. I mean, you're much more of a LinkedIn celebrity than I am, so definitely. But I think that kind of leads me to my next question. For anybody listening to this, what would you like them to know about you? Like, what would you like their takeaway episode, like from listening to this episode, to be? And I know that's quite a big question.
What would I like my takeaway to be? So I think, and it doesn't always go down well, with some people, this answer potentially. But I
Oh,
think
go on.
I think what I want to be known for is that I don't believe that being born with a disability is an excuse to not be part of the typical 9 to 5 normal life, maybe. And I think that's quite controversial in some people, because some people say, "Oh, I can't work, I can't do this," and I'm like, "Well, if I can,
Yeah.
you can." And I think, and that seems quite harsh, but I guess anything's possible if you put your mind to it. And success for everybody is a different. Doesn't have to look like my success. Doesn't have to look like yours. Yours doesn't have to look like mine. Mine doesn't have to look
Absolutely.
like Martin Sibley's or anyone like that. We've all got our own version of what success means to us. But I think there's an element that if you want to be part of life, if you want to be to a certain extent understood, I think trying, I think being involved and not having regrets and looking back, I mean, it's okay, I gave it a go, and so maybe, I don't know if I've wrapped that up in the right way, but I think I would like to be known for someone that's kind of like really put my heart and soul and tried to live the best version of life, even though circumstances can mean I wouldn't necessarily be the easiest choice to do. And I think sometimes the hard way can be the best way.
Honestly, I completely get what you say there. I very much have a similar outlook where, where there's a will, there's a way. And I think it's about adapting and finding your way of doing it. Anything is possible. I mean, every single thing I've set out for, even, when people were like, you'll never do that, I did. I just did it in my own way, or, with a bit of help. And I think that's also something I really try and get out there with my messages, just give it a go. Just find the way that works for you and try. I think you always feel better for trying.
Yeah. Can I add 2 more points to?
Yeah, go on.
But I think the other thing as well is my disability is the least most interesting thing about me.
Yeah.
It's just relevant, really. To be honest, it's like I don't find it's like I know people are interested, but I talk about it and share about it because people want to know, and we need to try and create a more equal world. But the actual I get to my least part. I think the other part that's maybe done me some success in life and helped me along the way is that, and you spoke about it as well at the start when you said about hard, and yet I do moan sometimes and I do share the frustrations, but
We all need to.
yeah, and I think though the way at work and the way in life maybe I've kind of got on with some things is because I've also shared, and it links to that can do bit, is that yeah, things go wrong. So, and I know, I've had bad air travel, I've had bad train travel, I've had bad experiences. And yet I've kind of talked about that. But I also, to each one of those organizations, rather than lose it at them or rage, I've kind of gone, I can help you make this better. I can show you the way, or if we just done it this way, or if you just thought about it in this angle, this will help you avoid it. So it's been misfortunate for me, but I can help you not make that misfortune again for somebody else. And I think sometimes when you rage at an organisation or something because your disability and it's let you down, you can actually turn them against the disabled community. But if you try and work with them, I do find that that's led to a more receptive approach about, okay, you've made a point. You've also given us an idea about a solution. Thank you. We're still, still not be best friends, but there's a way forward between us both.
No, absolutely. And I think that's a really great approach to have. And I think you're right. It can only strengthen and benefit and hopefully, help other people not have that same experience. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Ross. Honestly, I'm so glad we got to do it. I always come across you on LinkedIn, and so it's been nice to actually meet you and have a chat and hopefully also share more about you with my listeners. So that's been really wonderful. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you for inviting me.
No, honestly, it's my pleasure.
And you. Thank you.
I know. Well, I'll see you soon, Ross.
Cool. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.